18 years later, Commander David Fravor dares to tell what he experienced in November at the beginning of the new millennium. November 14, 2004. David was on one of his routine training flights, and everything indicated that it would probably be a morning like any other. Soldiers like Major David Fravor, however, are prepared for the worst, even on the best of days. In between his training turns, Fravor spotted something extremely strange that he immediately reported to the authorities, something he said he would never forget. "No, it was not of this world," said Major Fravor as he broke the silence. But why speak now? Why keep silent in the face of so many doubts regarding UFOs? One possible reason may be that Commander Fravor is lying, while another possibility is that he took the opportunity to speak out after the Pentagon's secret program became known, that secret program in charge of Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification, in order to find out if it is really UFOs that are flying over our skies. David's experience as a pilot was one of the keys to initiate the most important investigations of the project, to which very few had access. One thing is certain, David Fravor is convinced of what he saw that November 14. "I'm not crazy, it happened. After 18 years of flying, I have seen a lot of everything that can be seen in the skies, and this was nothing close to what we know today." These were some of the words of the commander after breaking the silence. Undoubtedly, something happened. But is it true what Commander David Fravor says? Let's find out. Mankind has always looked to the skies for meaning. But as our yearning for knowledge has reached farther into the depths of space, the search becomes for the answer to the question, are we alone? If you seek the truth, like, subscribe, click the bell icon, join us. This is what the world needs. This is disclosure. Sightings of strange flying objects by people in their daily activities has become something close to commonplace. It is something that could happen to anyone, regardless of whether at work, at college, or eating an ice cream with a pal. UFOs are there, and they are there watching us. Although we have no definitive proof or evidence that we can agree on, there are events that confirm the existence of strange objects that are in our skies. But why are they there? What's the reason that these beings have for watching us for many decades? Is it possible that they may actually have been here for thousands of years? The truth is that although humanity has no proof, there are highly capable people who have also witnessed the existence of these flying enigmas. Among these are the highly trained pilots of the U.S. Air Force. Pilots who confirm having seen objects that they had never seen or studied in their lives. This November 14 would forever mark the commander's life. David was piloting his FA-18 on one of his training missions over the coast of Southern California when suddenly everything started to become very strange. He noticed an object of about 13 meters without wings flying in front of him, and the speed it was flying was simply unbelievable and drastic. Commander David Fravor had never seen anything like it in his entire life, not even in each of his missions or practices. What kind of object could achieve such acceleration without even having wings? Those in charge of the air traffic controllers immediately reported objects falling at high speed from an altitude of 25,000 meters in a straight line. Everyone was stunned, watching everything that was happening, even the other ships in the vicinity of the mission. After observing the strange object, Commander David Fravor and his team came to the conclusion that it was not a helicopter, a jet, or an airplane at all. It was a mysterious wingless object that was moving rapidly from left to right and up and down, defying all aerodynamic physics as we currently know it. Commander Fravor began a circular descent to get a closer look, but as he got closer, the object began to ascend toward him. It was almost as if he was going to meet it halfway. The fighters then consulted with the operations officer on the carrier Princeton and were told to head for a rendezvous point 60 miles away called a cap point in aviation jargon. They were underway and closing in when the Princeton radioed again. The radar had picked up the strange aircraft again. "Sir, you won't believe this," the radio operator said, "but that thing is at its limit point." Arriving 40 miles away in less than a minute, the strange flying object was already at the pilot's limit point, said Commander David Fravor, who has since retired from the U.S. Navy. The other fighter planes on the scene and the one commanded by Fravor began an exhaustive search to find out what the object was. But just at this moment, as if it had known its steps before taking them, the UFO accelerated even more than it had done before and exceeded the altitude that the fighters had at that moment, and thus disappeared almost instantly. At this moment, besides the adrenaline rush, many of the pilots, including David Fravor himself, stated that they would have liked to fly something like that sometime in their lives. The fighter planes returned to the aircraft carrier Nimitz, where everyone on the ship had heard about Commander Fravor's encounter and were making fun of him. The speed the strange object possessed became one of the most important clues, certainly a revelation to all. No aircraft they knew of even came close to how fast this UFO managed to be in each of its incredible maneuvers. David, at the end of it all, claims not to know if it was alien life, but that we were undoubtedly in an infinite universe with multiple galaxies that we do not know. So the possibility from this knowledge becomes infinite as well. In addition, the radio operators claim that for 2 weeks in that place, they had been tracking mysterious airplanes. Objects would instantly appear at 80,000 feet and then plunge into the sea, dropping to an abrupt stop at 20,000 feet and floating away, as if they could control the environment at will. Then, according to the operators, the objects went off radar as they suddenly shot off into the sky beyond. Fravor and his team had seen an aircraft of some kind, off-white, that was about 40 feet long and oval in shape. The craft jumped erratically, hovering over the disturbance of the waves, but not moving in any specific direction. According to Commander Fravor, the object's disturbance looked like foamy waves and foam, as if the water was boiling while the object was almost skimming the waves. Major Fravor's superiors did not investigate further, and he continued his career, deploying to the Persian Gulf to provide air support to ground troops during the Iraq War. But he does remember what he said that night to a fellow pilot, who asked him what he thought he saw. Christopher Mellon, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence under Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, believes the object Fravor witnessed demonstrated advanced, never-before-seen technological capabilities. Mellon says the UFO appeared to have the ability to fly unlimitedly and possess exceptional acceleration. The news coincided with an admission by the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense, the fact of acknowledging the existence of programs dedicated to the in-depth investigation of strange flying objects until 2012, in which they would have allocated up to $22 million annually. In 2007, the institution launched its Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification program, an initiative for the investigation of UFOs directed by military intelligence officer Luis Elizondo in order to analyze each of the recordings and videos on unexplained incidents with UFOs in special or secret cases that have not had public transcendence. At this point, after so much information, we are left with a big doubt. Could Fravor have lied about what he observed that November 14? Well, no matter how many doubts we have, everything indicates that Fravor kept silent for such a long time due to his prohibition to talk about it. The accounts, the reports, and the witnesses of what happened verify that Fravor's information is part of the truth. Yes, on that November 14, Commander David Fravor and his companions observed an object that is still unexplained today. The inexplicable phenomena observed in our infinite celestial sky have always aroused the curiosity of human beings and have given rise to multiple myths and speculations. Myths and speculations that in many occasions would transcend from something meaningless to matters of national and world security. One of the phenomena that persists as a great question mark for humanity is that of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, a phenomenon that seems to be more possible and probable with each passing day, as there is more and more evidence and people committed to finding answers. Recently, a series of UFO sightings made by U.S. pilots unleashed again the debate that they could be extraterrestrial spacecraft, since supposedly these 120 unknown objects crossed the airspace at hypersonic speeds, defying the laws of physics. However, beyond the lies or truths of Commander David Fravor, there is something that nothing and nobody can change: the pilots and controllers who, together with him, witnessed the mysterious flying object. Regardless of what these objects truly are, what is certain is that more and more truths are coming to light to remove the veil from our eyes. Truths that make it clear that there are inexplicable incidents that have occurred and will surely continue to occur throughout our existence on this earth.